So Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert is suing Mike Pence. He and others are suing Vice President Pence, arguing that the office of the Vice President, with Pence currently holding it, has the unilateral power to basically pick the next president for the next 4 years. Now, if that sounds insane, it is, but I'm going to read you a little bit of reporting to help give context to this insanity. And it notes here, the lawsuit focuses on Pence's role in an upcoming January 6th meeting of Congress to count states' electoral college votes and finalize Biden's victory over President Trump. Typically, the vice president's role in presiding over the meeting is a largely ceremonial one, governed by an 1887 federal law known as the Electoral Count Act. But the Republican lawsuit, which was filed against Pence in his official capacity as vice president, asks a federal judge in Texas to strike down the law as unconstitutional. They go further. They ask the court to grant Pence the authority on January 6th to overturn key battleground states. And what that means is Pence's role under the current understanding, and really the only understanding, is purely ceremonial. He's there to oversee the count of the votes by the House and the Senate and basically be the final rubber stamp before the election is officially over. And he doesn't have any power really beyond that. But Gohmert and all of these other Republican ghouls are suing Pence and the office of the vice president to argue that in actuality, his powers are being constrained right now, and he has the ability to basically say, I'm not going to count votes, electors, electoral college points, whatever, from particular states. That the couple dozen votes that come from Pennsylvania, I'm not going to count them. The votes from Georgia, I'm not going to count them. And that when you throw out the disputed, there's no disputed. The election's over, it's done. When you throw out all the close states that Biden narrowly got over Trump, then Biden doesn't have as many electoral college votes as Trump, and then therefore Trump would be the winner, blah, 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 blah. The point is less whether this can work or not, and more how it shows a continued disregard for democracy from Republican officials. Again, this is not some random person on Twitter or 4chan or whatever. It's not. This is a sitting U.S. congressman and other Republican officials, including people that lead statewide Republican parties. This is the top of the Republican Party basically arguing against democracy and the will of the voters, the will of the states, the process of the Constitution. That's what they're doing here. That's 100% what they're doing. But it's also crucial because it shows the difficult position Mike Pence is in. He's not really being sued here. Like, the legal language is it's Gohmert and co. versus Mike Pence, the vice president. But it's really an argument against a particular piece of legislation and how it impacts the supposed powers of the vice president. But this argument is going to cause absolute headaches for Pence because we've been talking about this. Mike Pence knows he is going to be attacked by Trump and his supporters for this purely ceremonial role. He knows there's nothing he can do going forward. The election's over, but that he is going to be at that meeting and he's going to be making official announcements, and for low information, high rage people, including Trump, it's going to look like Mike Pence is agreeing with this and he's playing a role in taking this from Donald Trump and from the Republican Party and the conservative movement. This is why, and we've talked about this and others have talked about this, Mike Pence is leaving the country. He is fleeing the United States the day after this, going on international trips for the rest of his time as VP because he wants to get away from the madness of Trump and his movement. And he feels he can best do that by going abroad and having these formal diplomatic meetings and informal diplomatic meetings with people that understand that he's not going to be VP in a couple more weeks, but that, he still is now, and so they can meet with him. Like, that's what he's doing. He realizes this. But if you think people are going to be crazy mad at Pence for simply fulfilling a ceremonial role, imagine how mad they're going to be with a lawsuit like this floating around. Because even if it fails, and it will fail, it might not even get heard, but it will fail. If people suddenly think that Pence has this secret power that he's not using and he's not fighting for, he's not making an argument to use it, people are going to blame him. he's going to be blamed even more because now he's not just the ceremonial stooge. Now he's in deep with Biden and the deep state and the Democrats and whatever. And you have to know that, Pence is really struggling with how this is going to affect his career. Again, I have no sympathy for Mike Pence because I believe that if he felt he could help Trump pilfer the election from the American people, he would have. 100%. But he's trying to play it coy right now, right? He's trying to not make Trumpers too angry because maybe he'll run in 2024 or in 2028 and he wants that MAGA base to be with him. But he also doesn't want to go whole hog with Trump because if he does and the Republican Party snaps out of it, they're going to blame people like Trump and all of his enablers for burying the party for a decade or more. And so Pence wants it both ways. But these sorts of moments are showing that he can't have it both ways. Pence has to make a choice here. He needs to say whether he stands with democracy or he stands with his movement of deranged people. Pence will try to say nothing, and maybe he will say nothing, but I don't think that's going to be enough.